Okay, hi there, it's Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time, just talking about a subject for which I'm relatively well known here on YouTube, back on the subject of demonology. Great. There was this great guy who's been very kind to me and has watched a great deal of my videos. Thank you very much, you know who you are. And he's made a comment on one of my demonology videos, one of my very early ones. And he says here in the comment section, "You can trap a demon in a circle, but what about his nameless friends?" Well, first I suppose the question is, can you actually trap a demon? Let's go back to basics here. Do we actually know, and I mean actually know, that these things have an objective existence? To which the answer is basically probably not. All we have is some experiences and some anecdotes that we can try and describe and define for people and say this is what appeared to happen. There was this particular sensation, this particular experience, I noticed this sort of thing, I got change in temperature, something of a certain shape, size and dimension appeared before me, or not, as the case may be. It either did look like this or it didn't look like this, and so on and so forth. We essentially can just explain a experience. As far as knowing, in the same way as I know that this is made of physical matter, has objective existence, absolutely everybody will notice it if I wave it in their face. Can we do that with a spiritual entity? I don't think that we can. Essentially, with all forms of spiritualism, and demonology is just another form of spiritualism, that's all. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. I think we've got to see it in that kind of like more down-to-earth light before we worry about the nameless friends of spirits or of demons. So let's get that nice and clear inside our heads before we go on to tackling the subject of trapping a spirit in a circle. I mean, are you really trying to suggest that there is some kind of powerful, conscious, aware entity who sees a line of chalk drawn on the ground and thinks, oh my word, I can't go beyond it? No. I mean, if the entity is conscious, then essentially that would do zippity squat. The way that I understand it is that if these entities exist, they must be a representative of some kind of psi or psychic type force of some description, and as such they can be affected by some other psi or psychic type force, including that which is believed in by conscious entities, namely humans, within the environment at that particular time. With the help of the altered states of consciousness practice of religious exercises, presumably that has the effect of enhancing the effect of belief to the point whereby you refuse to allow yourself to believe that that thing can move beyond a certain boundary. So my impression would be that it is strong belief which can restrict the ability of an energy, for want of a better word, to move beyond a certain point, and indeed to be trapped in a certain point. Is it the fact you've drawn a triangle or a circle which can stop the spirit from leaving it? No, it's the fact that you have invested tons of belief in it, and maybe you've used like religious words and like the word tetragrammaton written outside it, or the name of the Archangel Michael written outside it, and because of your belief in that thing, because you've made a space in your heart for it, so to speak, which assists you in stopping it from doing stuff. So when you're doing ritual, you invest belief very heavily. I mean, that's a much more emotionally and intellectually charged environment than when you're walking down to the shops to buy a can of baked beans, alright? Because you got like your candles going, you got your incense going, it's much more spiritual or religious, and it's much easier to enter into a religious state of mind in a religious environment, and that will help. Okay, if you were to go completely over the top with your special effects and had like a purpose-built temple, and you had like all the religious artifacts around you that you needed, or that you felt you need, and let's say the building was made of the type of building materials which you assumed had some kind of power or influence, and all of the tools that you were using were in accordance with your own mythology, the tools that were made from something which is supposed to have some kind of extra power, all these things enhance belief. And when belief is enhanced and you're in an altered state of consciousness, once in a while strange things happen. That much I will say to that. So it's not because you've got a triangle drawn, it's not because you've got a circle drawn on the ground with a bit of chalk, but because of the quantity of faith which you have brought up inside yourself, okay, and the skill that you've got in all the states of consciousness practices, in meditation, in prayerful work. As you guys know, I do prayer. I do it as it is a mind-altering exercise, and it can be mind-blowing because I've applied mind-blowing concepts to certain words of a religious nature, and therefore it has an effect upon my state of mind, and it can be electric at times. It's the belief and the associations that you've got which really work, so it would actually be very personal to yourself. And if you are doing this kind of stuff with other people, then it will be kind of necessary to make sure that everyone has some similarity of belief, and that's why groupthink can be good in an occult sense, but it can be bad in lots of other ways when you're like dealing with other people and so on and so forth. Okay, these are distinctions which we've all got to try and get right. The comment goes on, demons don't have names, a few have been named. Well, have they? Has someone actually sort of like gone for a walk downtown, met a demon, said, "Hi, how's it going? My name's Nick, and you are, okay, you're Florus, or whatever, or you are Astaroth. Okay, how's it going? Yes, lovely weather today, Astaroth, isn't it? Splendid, you're jolly good. Okay, well now I've got your name, I've got power over you, so you've got to do what I bloody well tell you. Yes, isn't that nice? Okay, now go and burn down that building, would you? And go and have a chat with my ex-girlfriend and give her a few nightmares. Yes, splendid, that's lovely. Come on, just get real, for want of a better word. Do demons tell you their names? No. The demon Florus in the Lesser Key of Solomon, I think it's the Lesser Key of Solomon, came from Heres, which came from Horus, because there is a train of thought which goes through that particular variety of spiritualism, whereby you can be an individual carrying on with your standard monotheistic religion, okay, but you are allowed within the paradigm of that particular religion to deal with the gods of other religions within different parts of the world, such as Astaroth coming from Astarte, Florus coming from Horus, and a wide variety of other ones coming from the old Egyptian gods or Mesopotamian gods and goddesses. So that's what the whole thing is about. Alright? It's about dealing with deities of other religions, but seeing yourself as being higher than them because of the assumed or believed status which you've got as being part of your own monotheistic religion, be it Judaism, Islam, Christianity, and so on and so forth. So it's a way of using kind of like witchcrafty things, witchcrafty ways to still be able to deal with or revere other deities. The same as you would do with angelic beings and so on and so forth. Alright, the comment goes on. I've worked with demonology, it just sucks. They corrupt you. Do they? Do they really corrupt you? No. Alright. If you've got a very strong belief that the demons are evil, but the word demon just means spirit, okay, it comes from, I think it's a Greek word which just meant spirit, but through history the meaning of the word has been changed because it was much more convenient for certain religions to regard something which is not directly of that religion, of the wisdom of that religion, to be seen as being evil. Okay, so that's why demons are demonstrated as or explained as being evil. If you go to the French version of Dictionnaire Infernal, which I think is actually available online to the most part, and you just copy and paste bits into the translation section of Google, you'll see that an awful lot of it is about a very literally old-fashioned form of Christianity, and trying to make sure that people are literal believers in Christianity in certain sections. So the demons were invented or created or turned into something that was evil in order to try and make sure everyone obeyed the medieval Catholicism or medieval Christianity of that particular place and time. So do demons corrupt? Well, if they're just spirits, then why would they care about corrupting you or doing you any harm? Intellectually it makes no sense. So what you can do is you can actually build a relationship with the spiritual entity, no matter what it is, and see how it goes. In some parts of the world, I think it's in Mexico with Santeria, Is it Mexico? I can't remember. Or is it with the American Indians? I can't remember, getting all the traditions mucked up. They basically use very similar techniques, but instead of drawing a symbol for the spirits in chalk on the floor, what they would do is they'd take different coloured sands and they would sprinkle a pattern, and the pattern would be the image of that particular deity or that particular angelic being or that particular spirit of whatever rank or hierarchy it is, and then they would say that once that thing has been drawn, then it is there. And they would invest belief that once it has been drawn, then it is there, which is pretty damn similar to what people would do within the Lesser Key of Solomon type traditions. I mean, they would instead like paint it on a disc of copper or whatever. All right, but once the physical representation is there, then the belief will be invested in it, in the thing actually being there. So, do they corrupt you? Well, what is your proof? You may have a few strange experiences, or maybe you just got a bit loopy after doing it. But on the other hand, after doing your own ritual, or whatever it was you did, maybe your diet was bad, you got a form of indigestion, you had a slight fever, maybe you're intellectually weakened, are you short of B vitamins? All these things have got to be looked into so that you can try and make sure you cut out the confounding variables and you don't superstitiously believe that it was the alleged demon which has caused your your psychological symptoms or your symptoms in your mind. I mean, I would love to encourage people just to experiment and explore with all kinds of forms of occultism, because when you do get some kind of strange experiences, because you've had some kind of strange experiences, it says something about us as humans. There are those who take it too seriously, though, and there are those who rely upon this stuff too much, and as a result of that can actually be bad, and I do not want to encourage anyone to rely upon all this stuff, or indeed to rely too heavily upon their experiences. Alright, or indeed to be able to interpret their own experiences in too much of a literalist way, because that's going back, it's not going forward intellectually. Again, the comment goes on and says, their presence will corrupt you and make you mentally ill. Well, I don't believe that. And nor have I seen any evidence for it. I mean, people can go mentally ill. People do go mentally ill. There's plenty of normal ways in which a healthy person can go mentally ill if they just get an infection, or if, as I said, like the diet is bad, they don't get enough exercise, or they don't sleep at night. All these things can affect the mind, or in fact they don't actually apply reason and scientific thoughts to ordinary things in life. I mean, what this comment is doing is focusing very much on a superstitious outlook, and that's not very healthy for any individual who is dealing with this stuff. Okay, the comment goes on and it says, I am rational and scientific. Well, if you are rational and scientific, then why have you jumped to a conclusion that demons are somehow nasty and evil and can make you mentally ill, and have made this strong truth claim that demons firstly exist as strong objective entities, they've got nameless friends, and all of that? I mean, how can you say that you're being rational and scientific when these strong truth claims are just there? We can't do that and honestly say that we are being rational and scientific. And the comment goes on and says, I don't write everything down, but I will eventually, and I can explain anything. No, we can't. Now, if you think that you can explain everything about demons, when your presupposition is that demons will corrupt you and will make you mentally ill, when basically it's a massive leap to say that could happen in the first place. I mean, a massive leap. There's no hard evidence about that. Then it's not good. Intellectually, it's not good. Now, there are a wide variety of different forms of occult ideas. Namely, if everyone in the world believes something, then on the spiritual or astral world, then it will be true. Or that is an investment in energy, or an investment in belief, which helps to create these things, or makes this something in the astral world work. Now, hypothetically, that could be true. As I said before, I mean, it appears that belief can play a big part. So for someone who doesn't have any belief at all in anything even vaguely spiritual, they're not going to see anything vaguely spiritual. But on the other hand, right, If I don't believe that my keys are lying around in my flat, if I have a hard look around for my keys, I'm not going to see my keys, and my keys are physical. Human perception can affect all kinds of things, and maybe disbelief is a very good defense, as Alphonse Louis Constant postulated, and as I would say I, to a certain degree, kind of agree with. I know that's a bit of a truth claim, but I suppose that would make some sense. The way that you believe will affect your behaviour. If you don't believe you can cross a road, if you stop believing you can cross a road, then you might have an accident when you try and cross a road. Unless you, through a period of education, start building up your belief in your ability to cross the road. So education itself is about developing beliefs. Now, if it is true, and I don't think we can make a strong truth claim, maybe we can make a weak truth claim or a hypothesis, not a strong truth claim, that the more people who believe something, the more it's more likely to be true in the astral world, or indeed the belief of humans affects the astral world, then maybe you've got an argument that the demons are evil, because most people believe that demons are evil. But on the other hand, how would you classify something as being demonic if the only thing that represents it is a couple of lines drawn in chalk on the ground? And how would you know what you are calling up is that particular thing? I mean, some people say something like, well, if you call upon the name of Jesus Christ, then essentially you're not going to get any form of demon possession. Well, how do you know that? And if you do feel a presence, how on earth would you know it's Jesus? The fact of the matter is we don't. And me personally, as I enjoy just experiencing stuff, I'm probably going to turn around and say, I don't really give a shit. To be quite frank. The experiences, when they do come, can be quite good fun. Anyway, just a brief demon ramble for today. This has been the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch, signing out for now. Sleep tight.